Welcome one and all to the Professional Minigolf Association Tour 2017 edition. I am your host, Jeremy Harrison. With me as always, my partner in crime, Priebus Bounce. Priebus, how are you feeling about this tour?
Oh, I'm feeling great, Jeremy. It's always great to be at this competition. It's been held for over 50 years now, and it's never skipped a beat. Really happy to be out here.
Yes, an incredible tour it will be this season. Our frontrunners, Johnson McDongle, all-time MVP, one of the greatest champions minigolf has ever seen, and his all-time rival, Kurt Skirt, following just behind him. I know you have many choice words about Skirt, Priebus. I'll let you take it away.
I've been somewhat of a mentor to Kurt Skirt over the years. Between his lean dependency and everything else, I've really got him on the right track, and it's really just an interesting time out there with Kurt Skirt. You never know what you'll expect. Hopefully, we'll see some good performances from him.
And that we hope to see. Closely behind Skirt, we have recent newcomer Nicky Wang, whose rookie season last season left us all in awe as he almost beat McDongle for the title. And then...
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Nicky Wang, a bit of a newcomer, not as much known about him, but definitely excited to see him there.
Yes, very excited indeed. And finally, we have Whiffy Cox, a somewhat interesting choice. In fact, he actually died in 1969, but we assume he's come back from the grave for one last competition, an ultimate retirement tour, if you will.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he's got, considering he has already passed out on the course multiple times.
Yes, and this just in the practice rounds alone, we've had to call the ambulance many times. It's very interesting.
Yeah, very dangerous situation, Jeremy. Anyways, now that we've seen our leaders, let's go on to the rest of the pack.
Yes, in the rest of the pack, we have Patrick O'Houlihan, the Irish League champion.
Followed by Jeremiah Spank.
We also have Clark Pennywhistle.
Stephen Stevenson.
Alejandro Avocado.
Paxton Flaxton.
Billy Falafel, whose tour in the Iranian League was very interesting to watch.
Yeah, he had a very good time out there. We'll have to see how he does here. Followed by him, we have Times 1939 Person of the Year, a real leader for the time.
We also have former President George W. Bush, pretty much a wild card.
Followed by Bill Murray's character from the hit 1990s film Space Jam. Always a pleasure to see him.
We also have several raccoons stacked on top of each other inside of a trench coat, whose junior season last year and rookie season this year shape up to be very interesting indeed.
Followed by the entire cast of Annie Jr. on Broadway.
We also have the winner of the 2012 Paralympic 100-meter dash.
Then, the 2003 WNBA All-Star Team.
We also have a pair of disembodied hands, definitely the lightest player out here this tour.
Yeah, they may be challenged to that title, though, by several toothpicks arranged to look like a swastika.
We also have that expired tub of yogurt in the back of your fridge.
And finally, rounding out the competition, our junior champion, a bucket of assorted white meat chicken.
Very interesting season indeed. Should be very interesting to see what happens with all these players. Especially...
Well, there's our competitors. Let's see how they do.
Good morning, mini-golf fans. It is a beautiful day at the Waterhole course. My name is Jeremy Harrison. Here, as always, is my co-host, Priebus Bounce. Priebus, how you doing this morning?
Good to see you, Jeremy. It's a great day for some mini golf.
Yes, it is. And we have some fantastic competitors today. We have Johnson McDongle, all-time running champ, won the last 3 series in a row. It's going to be beautiful to watch him putt today. We have recent newcomer Nicky Wang, who has showed incredible skill in the minor leagues. We also have Kurt Skirt, someone who has been on the tour for quite some time, but has always suffered from coming under Johnson McDongle. And we have all-time great Whiffy Cox joining us from beyond the grave.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Whiffy has actually been deceased for about 60 years now, but he appears to be back up and kicking. He wants to rejoin the mini golf, see what he can do.
It was very surprising to hear that from his agent, that he wanted to play mini golf again. Picking up his clubs. Should be interesting to see what happens today.
All right, here we go on the first hole. All downhill from here.
Should be interesting to see what these players do today. And Johnson McDongle makes the first putt. All of these players coming in around the same spot as each other. Whiffy Cox seeming to make a fatal error. Nicky Wang with an early lead, going as close to the hole as any other player.
Oh, Kurt Skirt just missing that second stroke. He's going to have to take a third.
Kurt Skirt getting a par on this hole. Very interesting. Whiffy Cox.
A little bit behind the rest of the pack.
but he still manages to sink it in par. That gives us Nicky Wang and Johnson McDongle fighting for first at the end of the first hole.
Second hole now, called over and under. We'll see what these competitors have. Kurt Skirt, early lead, out the gate.
Kurt Skirt and McDongle suffering from hitting that fatal box. Can they pull it back?
Oh, Kurt Skirt with a devastating error on that one.
Johnson McDongle almost getting 2. Would have been a beautiful birdie to see. Nicky Wang securing a 4.
Double bogey.
Kurt Skirt suffering a fatal blow here on this hole. Let's check in with Whiffy Cox. Whiffy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's good to hear.
I mean, second hole there was a little rough, pulling a bogey, but I feel like I'll be able to pull it back in the later half of the day.
For his sake.
All good news.
Oh, Nicky Wang already with a fatal mistake. We'll see. Oh, another one. Nicky Wang really suffering on this hole.
McDongle showing that he knows how to play this course. And with Kurt Skirt right behind him, it's a very interesting hole indeed. Nicky Wang coming in hot towards the hole.
Both front runners getting the birdie on this one. Whiffy Cox at his old age tending to be one of the slower ones out here today, but we'll hope to see that his stroke count stays low.
Whiffy Cox is just getting abused in this first 3 holes here. Nicky Wang not far behind him. Johnson McDongle with a strong lead at the end of the 3rd hole. Now we come to our first tricky hole. It should be interesting to see who knows what to do. McDongle and Wang showing prowess in this hole. Other 2 competitors just going too far. Let's check in with Nicky Wang after that beautiful hole-in-one. Nicky, how are you doing today?
I'm doing mighty fine today. How are you?
I am just fine, thank you. How do you feel about coming into this competition as a relatively new player?
Well, I'm a little nervous, as I should be. I have a lot of old-timers like Whiffy Cox. He's been around the game. He was always a role model growing up. I'm really looking forward to competing with him, actually.
All right, good to hear from you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Nicky Wang, an interesting character, Jeremy, as we've seen already so far. His career started with a pretty major hiccup as he was accused of doping. Pretty
Yes.
interesting. You don't see that a lot in the pro mini golf scene, but it seemed to have helped him a lot early on, and he's gained a bit of a reputation since then.
Anything to make those putts. Priebus, I would just like to take a moment to appreciate that Johnson McDongle just shot an excellent hole-in-one on this hole. Something that we don't see very often, and just showing that he is a professional.
Kurt Skirt really suffering on that hole. That'll put him back a while.
But yes, as you were saying, Nicky Wang, with those early scandals, just didn't help his career very much. But
Johnson
he's
McDonald absolutely destroying this course so far.
it's a very interesting hole here.
All competitors seeming to get a pretty similar start.
Well, that's what you come to expect from these pros. They know how to hit these balls.
Oh, Skirt already messing up early on.
Whiffy Cox in before Skirt. Very interesting.
Skirt
Things are
really
not
struggled.
looking good for Skirt today. You have to wonder what's going through his head. Let's
Normally
check in.
he's solid competitive. Yeah, you know, it's just really not going well for me so far, man, but you never know. We'll have to see what happens on the back nine.
Thank you, Mr. Skirt.
Always topical as ever.
Very prudent man. Says what he needs to and just walks away. McDongle suffering
Oh,
from getting
Skirt.
behind the barrier.
Another rough start for Skirt as he just can't seem to get it going today.
McDongle looking to get a par on this hole. Not something that we've seen from him much today. Let's check in. McDongle, what do you think went wrong on that hole? Well, it's a stressful hole. There's bridges. Never been very good with bridges. I fell off of one as a small child. We'll have to see what happens. Well, Priebus,
Interesting insight from Donald, who actually suffered intense brain damage from that early fall as a child. It's a miracle we're even seeing him today on this course.
Yes, a miracle indeed, but he has showed that he is an active and fierce competitor, even with that terrible, terrible brain injury.
Oh, Kurt Skirt just really can't get it going today. Another out of bounds for Kurt.
McDongle getting a bogey on this hole. Very unlike him. That is his first bogey of the day. Let's see what Skirt can pull out of this hole.
Skirt on his 8th stroke finally gets it in.
Skirt seems to be falling fast as he is already 9 over par.
He may be replaced if the time comes right and he really can't cut it in this course.
This may be his final season. And no player can seem to make it through that first hole. Let's see what happens next. Johnson McDongle only inches from the hole. Very disappointing to see. Has to be so frustrating.
Gets on track with a par.
And all 4 players today get a very nice par on that hole. Current standings at the end of the front 9. Johnson McDongle holding a steady lead. Nicky Wang not very far behind. Followed closely by Whiffy Cox and Kurt Skirt just falling.
You have to wonder what's going through his head, Jeremy.
We talked to his publicist. He said he is not available for a comment at this time. Very interesting.
He's a man of few words.
He says what he needs to, when he needs to. It's quality we've come to love from him, actually. He's never been involved in any scandal whatsoever. And
Whiffy Cox really struggling on that one.
McDongle still with the lead. This is an interesting hole. We'll see how these players react. Oh, not looking good for McDongle, missing it. But as we see, Whiffy Cox makes the crucial hole in 2. Johnson McDongle suffering a bogey on that hole. Nicky Wang also getting a bogey. Let's check in with Nicky Wang. How is he doing after this hole? Okay, well, there you heard it from Nicky Wang himself.
Nicky Wang apparently still using some sort of doping mechanism to give him an advantage. Not a surprise.
This could be interesting for the referees after this game. All 4 players seem to have been bounced off of the giant pendulum pickaxe. Who can recover first? It's obviously not Whiffy Cox, excuse me.
Johnson McDonald, again, 1 stroke above the rest.
Can Whiffy Cox make this long putt? Oh, very close.
You hate to see it.
Just a little bit too much. Let's go in now to Mr. Cox himself. Whiffy, how are you feeling after this hole?
It was an unfortunate swing with the pickaxes, but I think we'll be able to pull it around in the back half of the back 9.
Alright, very encouraging.
I'd like to hope
McDongle getting a very unfortunate hit.
They really seem to be struggling on these moving platforms here.
Nicky Wang secures a nice 2 on this hole. Oh, McDongle, Cox and Skirt all securing a par.
Skirt only 4 strokes from par with 5 holes to go. Not good.
Not looking good for Skirt today, no. And Priebus, you had the opportunity to sit down with Skirt just a couple months ago to reflect on his career. How
I
did that
did.
go?
Oh, it was very enlightening. It turns out Skirt is actually addicted to the substance lean. He
Oh,
frequently partakes, and it's actually given him the competitive advantage that keeps him up in the top ranks today.
well, it certainly doesn't seem like it today as he is falling very fast. But very
Seems to have better
interesting.
and not as good days with that substance.
A man of very few words and no scandals. Suddenly involved in a scandal. Very, very
No,
disappointing to
actually,
see.
Jeremy, I've recently checked the rulebook, and it appears there is no substance ban on lean, so
Oh,
he's actually completely within his right to partake.
very interesting indeed. And you said it gives him a competitive advantage, correct?
Um, it puts him in a different mindset, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, very interesting to hear.
For better or for worse.
Whiffy Cox looking to take a lead over the other 2 players here. But not enough. Nicky Wang looking to secure a par or a bogey? A bogey. No player comes under par in this hole. Very interesting to see. And Whiffy Cox just short of that rolling hill. Let's check in with Mr. Wang again. Mr. Wang, how are you feeling about this course so far?
Oh man, that last hole really got to me, man.
And with only 3 holes to go, how do you expect to come back? Or at all?
Uh, uh, you just gotta hit the ball, you know?
Yes, hit the ball indeed. Thank you,
Very
Mr. Wang.
insightful, Mr. Wang. You love to see that these men are really intellectual giants.
Yes, Wang actually got a 89 on his most recent IQ test. Very impressive for this scene.
Comparatively, Kurt Skirt, actually, with a current IQ of 45, just to give you a glimpse as to the difference between some of these competitors.
And as we mentioned earlier, McDongle, he has it all technically down, but mentally, we are unsure as his IQ has been measured at a -3,
I'm going to level with you, Jeremy. There's just nothing going on in his head.
and it's most likely because of that brain damage as a child. But it's very incredible to watch him play this sport. It's always a delight.
Kurt Skirt, very good approach. Seems to have come alive now in the last couple of holes.
Very good by all players here. All shooting a perfect par. As we come into the final hole, McDongle still with a very strong lead. It's looking like he will take home the championship today. Let's see what these players do.
In the last hole, it seems to be all about luck, Jeremy.
Well, Priebus, always a pleasure to host this with you. Never a
As to
dull
you.
moment. These players are all very, very impressive. It's a joy to watch them all, and as they all go into the same minecart, except for Nicky Wang, of course, who is behind, but that's okay.
No shame in coming last, as long as you get under stroke.
Let's see what happens for these players. And McDongle and Cox both hitting the same moving piece of land there.
Skirt with a very nice putt, and he's in. Looks like we're getting birdies all around.
Let's see what Nicky Wang can pull out of this last hole. Oh, just textbook.
That is beautiful.
Excellent execution. And there you have it, folks. At the end of the day, McDongle takes home another prize. Oh, and it appears Whiffy Cox has immediately left.
It appears he's passed out on the floor. There's no coming back.
Someone needs to call an ambulance. This is not
Someone
good.
please call 911.
Oh,
It's
this could. He is very old. This could not be good.
No.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh no, that's.
Oh,
Oh,
he's convulsing. Oh no. You hate to see it.
oh wow. Well, it was a joy, a pleasure. It was the Mini Golf Association Tour. I am Jeremy Harrison, here with my co-host, Priebus Bounce. Thank you for joining.